So, I created more characters. I mean, surprise, surprise. What was the last video I filmed? This one. Though to be fair, these are really old characters from stories and plans that I've had for a long time that I'm only now getting around to designing. So, here are two more. They're in the same story as Scott and Talon. So, I'm finally filling out this cast. This cast is very big. And there are some story arcs where you're not going to see some characters and other characters will be taking center stage. So these two characters are in one story arc. This is Rick and Derek. Yes, there's a reason that their names are so similar. I'll probably talk about that later in the video. And this is Maggie and Harry. They have another story arc. Both of them are both of these couples, because they're a couple and they're going to be a couple, both of these couples have known each other when they knew each other as children, and then they're meeting again for the first time as adults. Well, not these two, they met one time before, but it's still been years since they've seen each other. And Rick does not recognize Derek at first because Derek used to be Alice. So yeah, there's that. I'm wondering how much to explain about this. It's not really a spoiler because neither one of them are in any sort of closet. Kind of. Again, it's a little hard to explain, but it will make sense in the story because they're both trans guys, and he actually has a daughter, and that's part of their story. And she was married, so. And the ring and the scar are very important to their plot later on. And also the scar on her nose. So, what am I gonna be using for this? Tombow Fudonosuke brush pen, my favorite inking pen of all times. If I only had one pen to use for the rest of my life, it will be the Tombow Fudonosuke brush pen soft. And then probably like a brush with ink for bigger areas. Add some Bianyo markers. I'm kind of worried because my markers are running out, they're drying, they're dying. I've been throwing them away because they're unsalvageable at this point. They've lasted a good few years, so it's not like they're bad markers, I've just used them a lot. So I'm going to be using these, and that's it. This is going to be... oh, that's another video. Can't show you that yet. These are going to be a little hard to deal with because I'm going to have to choose colors that I still have. It's a good thing I bought a small Bianyo skin tone set because Copic markers are trash and a waste of money. I know everybody's like, oh, Copic markers are the best, the brush pens are amazing. The brush nibs suck, the Copic markers suck. They came dry. I hate Copic markers now. The amount I spent for 6 skin tones could have bought me 120 markers with change left over. Why did I spend money on Copics? Anyway, so Bianyo markers, the Tombow brush pen. This is done in regular 2B mechanical pencil lead, and I might do borders around the sides like this. Those would be with some highlighters or some water-based brush markers, nothing special. This was done in watercolor, so it's not gonna look like this. I'm not even sure if I'm going to do a whole lot of shading because, like I said, I'm running out of markers, so it's going to be pretty limited, but I don't really mind that. So long as I have skin tones, I think I'll be fine because having limited colors, I love working with limited palettes. I find it's a lot more relaxing than a full palette sometimes, because when you have a full palette then it's hard to pick colors. But when it's limited, it's kind of easier because there's not much choices. But skin tones, I have to have as many skin tones as possible. I'm saving up for another skin tone set. I'm going back with my Ohuhu skin tone set. My brother bought me a pack of those some years ago and they're only now dying. They're worth the money. Copics are not worth the money. But yeah, so these two couples are going to be next. And oh yeah, this is actually the page that made me kind of do a slight redesign of them, because this is how they used to look. And I drew them another time. But anyway, I didn't really like how they were looking. Oh, just before we get into the video, I should warn you that we're having a storm right now. It's a rainy season. And we're on flood alert and everything. Not we, the country. I live on a hill, so I'm not going to get flooded. But you might notice the lighting change because I might have to use a lamp to light. It's pretty dark sometimes, especially if current goes, because current might go. It's already gone for the day already, so the current is going to be a bit unpredictable. So I might have to use a lamp, a clip-on lamp. That might actually be better. It might give a better look, and I may have to do this over the course of a few days. So if you notice any inconsistencies, that's why. And yeah, I think that's it. Totally not procrastinating on a comic I should be working on. Oh yeah, this is them again. But yeah. Harry's wish. He's had a crush on her for years. Kind of. It's a little complicated. Oh, and something else. Anyway, so I think that's it for now. I will start inking and send you over to the voiceover. So, let's go. So I actually forgot I filmed this video. It's months later, apparently. Because I don't even remember on what day I filmed this video. Later on in the outro, because I filmed the outro when I had finished the drawings, I mentioned that it was the rainy season, well, in the intro and the outro, and it's now the dry season, and we haven't had rain in a long time. So I actually found this video while I was looking for the footage to edit the sketchbook tour for this sketchbook, and I totally forgot that I didn't edit this video and post it, because this was filmed before the last video I posted, and I hadn't finished the sketchbook yet, other than the middle spread or the front page. But all that is finished because, like I said, I've already done the sketchbook tour, so all my videos are a bit out of order, but we'll just ignore that. Allow me instead to gush about this story. Now, you see, I've actually had the characters of Scott and Talon for years. I even wrote almost the entirety of the first mystery, because originally it was going to be like a sci-fi mystery novel series, and only recently I decided to make it a comic because I want to play with themes of dark and light. So what happens in this story is that it's set in this city, and the city is shaped like a box, and most of the residents are within the city, and the buildings are used kind of like pillars to hold up the top. So there's a top layer, and then you have all these interconnecting buildings. And on top of on that top part is where basically all the rich people live. So there's this whole thing about dark and light. So the people who live on the top are called the people of the light because only they get to see the sun. Few slivers of sunlight peek in through the floor of the top, but not enough. So people who live within the city, they don't know what is going on at the top. They've never really seen trees. They've never felt the sunlight on their skin. And the city itself is surrounded by thick fog. And no one really knows what's beyond that fog or what is in the fog. Everybody is contained within the city. And I still have to work out on, the whole food thing. But part of the story is the mystery of what is going on with the city, but most of the focus is not that. The focus is actually on Scott's story about his son going missing and Talon helping him in the search of what happened to his son, because his 3-year-old son was kidnapped 3 or 4 years before the start of the story. And in each arc, there are different characters. So Caden and Emmett, their story is one arc. And these characters that I'm drawing have their own arcs. So Scott actually works with this group of people. I can't remember the name I named them because I wrote the first draft years ago. Scott is a part of this group of people that they're like independent investigators because, whole city corruption stuff. And they solve mysteries, but they specialize mainly in kidnappings and stuff like that, but mainly kidnappings. They don't really deal with murder and things. They try to find people and the leader, the woman who started the entire thing, her son went missing, and she didn't get any help to find him, so she started this group where that's what they do. They help find people. And Maggie works with a separate group, so there are like teams within this organization, and Scott runs one team, and that team, Emmett's older cousin is a part of it because Emmett is a teenager. And Maggie works with another team, but he is the one who brought her in because she was born in the darkness. Scott was born in the light, so he's essentially considered like a child of the light, and she's a child of the darkness. And she always wanted to go to the surface. She wanted to see the sun and feel it on her skin and stuff, which is how she ended up in the bad romantic relationship that she ended up in. Her husband, I haven't decided if he's dead or not, but she is 100% divorced, and Scott is the one who helped her get out of that situation, so now she's living in the dark again, essentially. Harry. Originally his name was Harris, but then I decided to change his name to be Harland. I don't know, I just kind of wanted to change his name, but I wanted to keep Harry as his nickname, and Harold just reminded me too much of the king from Shrek 2. Anyway, so the two of them grew up in the same building, and he used to bully her. He was a bully, which is one of the reasons why they don't really interact much as adults. But there was an incident that caused him to start to change, but then they lost touch and stuff because she got married. And he met her once before when he snuck onto the surface. I haven't really figured out how that whole scene is going to play out, but their arc starts when people from the large apartment building that they used to live in go missing, and one of her sisters go missing and then turns up dead. And he calls to let her know what's happening, and then that's what starts that arc. The next arc is with Derek and Ricky, and those two, they were supposed to be a part of a completely different story, and I put them into this one. But Derek and Harland, they're kind of friends but also kind of not. They're kind of like business rivals, and Derek loves to harass Harland. He loves to harass him, he loves to mess with him. But the reason is not because he hates Harland. he actually really likes Haaland and he would love to be friends with him. The thing is though, at this point in the story, Harry is a very respectable businessman. He's an honest man, and a lot of the people who work for him, they were like escaping from bad situations, and his business is like a refuge for them. And unknown to him, the reason so many people keep turning up on his door is because Derek has been sending them there because he knows they would be safe. Derek is the son, the first or second son, I haven't decided yet, of the guy who used to run that gang. And originally he didn't want anything to do with the gang. And the problem with that is that his father was the leader of the gang, which means he didn't have a choice. And because of that, he kind of withdrew from people. But then he tried to have a kind of double life, which is when he got married and they had the daughter. And he tried to keep his marriage life separate from his work life. But that didn't work out when his daughter went missing. And that's the reason why he divorced the husband. He and his ex do not get along at all, and he pretty much never sees the daughter. And I'm thinking that story would involve his daughter going missing and him now having to confront that past, because he didn't transition until after the whole divorce and everything happened. But yeah, he actually really likes Haaland, but he doesn't want to pull Harry into this kind of situation with the gangs and stuff. The reason he decides to take the chance with Ricky is because Ricky is a very honorable guy, but he's also somebody who is more able to handle that kind of life than his ex-husband, who was, for all intents and purposes, a nerdy nice guy until they got divorced. Now he kind of hates Derek. He hates him a lot. They don't speak at all, and the only reason he finds out that the daughter is missing is because somebody else lets him know. And I'm also thinking maybe the ex-husband could accuse him of kidnapping her or something, even though Derek would never do that, because Derek does love his daughter, which is one of the reasons why he has nothing to do with her. And he kind of regrets having her at all, because that's the reason he's in this mess in the first place, because it's his birthright. The other reason why he takes a chance with Ricky is because they meet at the beginning of the story, so this is not a spoiler or anything. They meet when there's like a gang bust, because Ricky is a part of the police, and he essentially gets on the gang's radar. So at this point, it's not like he can hide him from the gang. He's a police officer, and he just got everybody in the area to know who he is. So at that point, the risk is worse if he doesn't stay with Ricky. And of course, there's going to be a romance between the two of them, because I mentioned that they're a couple. Ricky had a crush on Derek when they were in school together, because they went to school together. And Derek had kind of liked him back, but this was another case of him trying to keep away from people and not bring people into his problems. So he never said anything. So Ricky thought the entire time that it was unrequited love, but that wasn't the case. So yeah, I really like these two couples. I like all the couples in this story. Caden and Emmett also have a really cute romance. If you watch any of my other sketchbook tours, you would see many, many, many drawings of Caden and Emmett, because I love drawing Caden. But the problem that I'm having with this story is that I keep trying to put people in purple. It used to be that I used to put everybody in blue, and then I told myself, no more blue. So then I started putting everybody in purple. So now I told myself, no more purple. And now I'm putting everybody in green. It's like I get fixated on a color and I can't stop. And I can't use grays or blacks because I've already used up all those markers. So I can't use them. But anyway, I love this story. I can't wait to write it, but it has to be a comic. Well, I guess it doesn't have to be a comic, but it would be better as a comic because of the whole light and dark themes that I'm working with. And yeah. Oh, so one of the things, I've already finished showing Ricky and Derek, but one of the things that I was struggling with is trying to figure out the color scheme, the hair colors for my characters. Since this is a more realistic story, I didn't want to give them like anime hair. And then I was like, you know what? This is the future. Of course people are going to be dyeing their hair weird colors. So I decided that Derek would be the perfect character who would dye his hair weird colors. Ricky, Harland, and even Maggie wouldn't, that's not their personality, but Derek would do it. Derek would of course do it. So yeah, there's that. I can't really think of anything else that I can talk about in such a short time, because I don't want this video to be too long, but one of these days I'm just going to make one long video and just talk endlessly about this story because I love it so much. And I haven't even mentioned like the other characters, like all the cyborgs, because there's a lot of cyborgs, and the fact that there's a mystery of where Talon even came from. Is she even from the planet? Was she born here in the city? Or is she an alien? Who knows? You'll find out in the comic. And it is finished. My 2 spreads. I haven't done the voiceover yet, so I don't know if I'm gonna end up repeating things that I say later, but I'm glad it's done because I've been putting off making this video for a few weeks, and it actually took me about a week to ink and color. So, if you couldn't tell, these weren't the final versions of the characters. This was me really working out what I think the characters will look like, and I have a much better idea now of what it is I'm going for. Ricky is gonna look like this. That's for sure. He's a police officer, so it's gonna look like this. Derek definitely has this hair and this shirt, but I'm gonna change the color of his pants, and I'm going to change his suit color because I want Harlan and Maggie to have red in their color schemes. Originally Maggie was purple, but in this story, Talon, these are the 2 main characters. These are arc main characters. Her main color is purple and his is green. So originally her color was purple. This was before I decided to put them into this story because I had these characters but didn't have them as a part of a story. I can't remember what I said in the intro because it was too long. Too long ago, and it was too long. But anyway, so I thought about giving her green, and I was like, no, I can't go from purple to green when these are these characters' main colors. So then I went with red, and I wanted the 2 of them to share a color scheme, but to have slightly different shades. And the other thing is that her personality kind of changed in the story as her role in the story changed. So originally they were supposed to be both leaders of rival gangs and he was supposed to fall in love with her, but now these 2 are business rivals with his legitimate company and his regular company. He's also a gang leader, and she is basically an innocent party in this whole thing, but somebody that he knew when they were younger. So a bit of childhood romance in with both of these characters, and these 2 guys have a frenemy relationship. They claim they hate each other, but everybody knows that's a lie, but they're always fighting and stuff, but they do have a very intense respect for each other. So I like how they came out. I was getting pretty frustrated with this one. I'll probably talk more about that in the voiceover, because like I said, I haven't done that yet, and I have to fill airtime. So thanks for watching. I'm thinking of posting these on my Instagram. I have some other spreads, some other pictures that I will also be posting to Instagram. This one was already posted. So yeah, I think that's it. I have, like I said, other characters in this story that I haven't designed yet, but this is not the story that I'm going to be doing after the one I'm procrastinating on doing at the moment, the one with Bryn and Trevor. Because the story is going to be much longer. So I have a story that's going to be longer than the one I'm working on, but shorter than this story. So that's the plan. I have one more video that I will be filming. That's the middle of the sketchbook. And I haven't done the first page yet, so... I remember the last middle of the spread... No. Sketchbook 11, when I did the first page, I was very proud of myself for doing the first page before I reached the middle of the sketchbook. Yeah, I just still don't know what I'm going to put on the first page, and I'm already past the middle of the sketchbook. A good way past. I am a quarter of the way to finishing this sketchbook. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you in another video. If you want to check out more of my art, I will leave links to my realism and my regular Instagram, and links to my books, because I write novels. So you can check those out if you want, if you're interested to see what kind of stories I write. I have about 36 novels out right now, so... Oh, and about 3 finished series and some ongoing, so you can definitely check those out. Yep, that's it, so I'll see you in another video. Later.